Do you believe there will actually be any mercy shown? For this Sunday, NXT is ready to go. Welcome, everybody, to the show as we City Predict NXT No Mercy. Hello, everybody, and welcome once again to City Predicting across the men's brand in conjunction with Cast 18 Studios. Been a moment, but I'm always happy to be back here with friends of the City Predicting community. You know what this is. I am the simple man of the simple brand. My name is Noel Foster. With me, as always, are my friends in the City Predicting community. I have Walter Cruz, Emmanuel, one half of the Dominguez, Mr. Pancake Man himself, as he christened himself, Tim. And of course, this is his brand, his NXT, damn it, representing his university as an alumni. Chase Hughes on the Renegade Wrestling, JJ Williams. For those that are wondering, there will be a forum going live after this video concludes in the comments and on my social medias. Stay tuned for more on that. And if you want to dictate the conversation, donate to dictate, super chat, simple as that, or PayPal. I'm sure we'll have the links out there. If not, just please stay on topic, share and tell with your friends, and enjoy the conversation. Before we get into stuff, let's go around the horn and see how everybody is doing. I will, of course, start off with the Renegade of Wrestling, Mr. Reliable. Super Reliable will keep you in tune with coverage during NXT and TNA and WWE this weekend. Lord help me. Walter Cruz. Walter, good to see you. How you feeling about NXT's No Mercy come this Sunday?
I'm feeling real good. By the way, JJ, setting up all these rooms, I got a whole level of new respect for you. With all the producing you see, like, damn, that you have ever done. Now I see, man.
Welcome to
now you get it.
Yeah. Well, welcome to our freaking madness. But
anyways, yeah, I'm up, especially after watching what just happened on NXT. I'm 9 out of 10 right now, man. I really feel like No Mercy is gonna be a hell of a pay-per-view or PLE.
I just call them pay-per-views because, like WWE music and production, sometimes screw damn conventions. I'm going to try and be sensible here since I'm under the 15-minute mark, even though I'm not monetized. But I know somebody else is, and I respect him, and I respect his brand, and I don't digress. All right, Walter, good deal. Of course, we have one half of the MVPs of the Jeff Beecham Network, Multiverse, Friends, Family, Karaoke Nights at the expense of my dinner, whatever the heck you want to call it. One half of the Dominguez Emmanuel, good to see you. How are you?
I'm doing good, and yeah, I mean, like, I spread a lot of wealth to you guys, and hopefully there's more karaoke's in the future, so you earn more money from me. I don't mind dishing out that's cash. I don't do nothing with my money, so why not send it to somebody else who earns it and really deserves it? And NXT, like, it's very interesting where direction it's going to be at. I wish TNA was more involved, besides Joe Hendry, but it is what it is.
Right. Well, again, I still think we are still in the early stages of the NXT relationship before it really blossoms over into more crossover. We've already seen crossover with X Division qualifiers, and according to what I heard tonight, further knockouts crossover where it looked like another nightmare was being brought forward to try and mess with Klein Jordan. We'll talk more about that later. That being said, good to have Tim back here once again, longtime friend of the Sleepy Ditching community, of course. Tim, how you been? How you feel about NXT No Mercy?
Good. Joe Hendry's calling me right now. He said he wanted to join the show because you have to believe in Joe Hendry. So
if you don't believe King, you're a hater, and you're on my bad side officially. So
no, but my days have been good. Can't wait for all these matches, especially the way Oba is like phenomenal. Who can beat Oba and stuff? The storyline. Maybe I can see Moose thrown up because I want to see Moose versus Oba in the future. That'd be amazing. So we never know. So
all right, fair enough. I'm going to go ahead and mute because I keep hearing a little bit of audio stuff. So, again, that being said, before we get into stuff, there's a reason why I saved him for last. This is this kid's brand. He is Chase U alumni. He has been black, white, and gold since its rainbow, bright evolution and inception. Respect, you help primarily. But it's always a pleasure to be with my colleague in all things NXT and WWE. He is the Renegade of Wrestling. He is JJ Williams. JJ, it's once again your brand's time to shine on the grandest stage, and this is their last stage before they go officially live on the CW. Massive things ahead as your brand continues to grow and go live full time on the road. So how you feel about this Sunday's No Mercy?
I'm right there with Walter, man. After watching tonight's episode, I'm like 9.5, 10 out of 10, like hyped for this. I was already excited going in. Then we had the match get added tonight that got added that we'll get into. Although I do feel that kind of spoiled things for Friday's Emergence pay-per-view. But we'll talk about it more when we get there. But yeah, NXT is definitely the must-see WWE program of the week.
Accurate.
Depending on what kind of wrestling you enjoy, it's become the must-watch program across all brands. I know that's a hot take. It's a bold statement, but when you figure not everybody has access to access for TNA, pun intended, and AEW is so divisive, I mean, it's kind of hard to argue that NXT, and especially with the NXT TNA crossover, is the must-see show of the week.
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely not wrong. Sorry, I was a little bit of latency there because I was trying to look. This is the problem when you try to look grab it when you're live, but I'll get that later. But again, like I told you, you brought me back into these letters. Being I used to be the freaking black and gold. Now it's the black, white, and gold. Looks like it's going to turn orange, white, and black when we go into October. How fitting! Once they arrive to the CW. So yeah, I'm looking very forward to this. And as somebody that looks at, of course, all things wrestling, shout, of course, to my entire TW family on the social media platforms. And we'll be doing an impromptu tomorrow night regarding our all-in review. I am looking very forward to this show. There again, now it's not about, like I said, the match results, but there's a lot right here for NXT to stand and deliver upon. Again, it's their last stage before they go live full time and they move to their new network. And we're truly seeing how much you can get out of this NXT TNA crossover when it comes to exposure, showcase, and professional development. So I'm definitely 9 out of 10 with you. I'm looking very forward to this show. So without further ado, if everyone else is ready to go in the chat, thank you again to everybody that's tuning in. Please subscribe, comment, and tell a friend. Without further ado, gentlemen, and City community, professional wrestling fans and friends of all ages, all demographics, all identities, let's get right into it. So we got 6 matches, it looks like, here tonight. Of course, the NXT No Mercy takes place on Sunday, September 1st, right before Labor Day, when you can sleep in because you don't have to work. Thank Christ, this week has literally killed me. Not just because I'm suffering from a sinus headache right now as we speak. But again, it will be, of course, on the Peacock. And I believe the PLE starts with a kickoff 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And the show actually goes live 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And again, super reliable. I have you covered across Rage of Wrestling, Kazane Studios, my YouTube channel with live watch from reactions and alternative commentary. And Daniel, it's very good to see you here as well as always. Appreciate you tuning in. So let's go ahead and kick things off, which I think is going to be a nice way to kick off because when I think about NXT PLEs, they usually start with one of two things, the North American or the tag team. And because this one literally is a fracking rematch, for the Pete's sake, I figured it's fitting that we kick things off with this. And hopefully, for your sake, bruv, your teachable moment is not the word transitional. Let's go ahead and talk about the NXT Tag Team Championships as the former champions catch in the rematch clause. It's David Frazier and Axiom going once again up against Chase Hughes, Andre Chase, and Ridge Holland. Of course, do you believe in miracles? Chase Hughes was able to actually claim a Rudy moment and victory as Ridge Holland claimed his first piece of gold in WWE alongside your professor, Andre Chase. However, after Riley Osborne and Duke Hudson were unable to beat David Frazier and Axiom, you could call maybe, the challengers passing their final exam. Well, the former tag champs got their opportunity back. Now, we've been looking at these tag champions of former. A little bit of tension, a little bit of disagreement, except when the title's been on the line, brother. And we do wonder if they are going to go their own separate ways. And is that still maybe in the back of their minds? And if they don't win here, do we finally see this team separate? Not going to say anything else because, again, this is his brand. This is his university. Damn it. He's kicking things off. JJ, this is your brand. This is your university. Let's see where you still stand. Do you still believe in Andre Chase and Chase U? Do you believe they retain? Or once again, are they transitional? Do we have new tag team champions kicking off No Mercy possibly this Sunday?
I believe in Chase U more than I believe in Joe Hendry.
How
You
dare
know
you?
this.
But yeah,
Hey, a year ago I didn't even believe in Joe Hendry.
but fair enough. I'm not going to get on
At
your
least
case.
I believe now.
Okay, continue.
You have converted me to a believer. But because I've been a member of Chase University since I started watching, I believe in Andre Chase and his teachable moments more than I believe in Joe Hendry. It's no disrespect intended. I am
Okay.
going to stand by my professor. I'm going to stand by his MVP. I am going to stand by the man who very well could be walking in this pay-per-view with the X from having won the Ultimate X match,
Oh, good
Riley
Lord.
Osborne.
Good Lord.
I stand with my mascot, the Spitfire, not Jody Threat and Danny Luna. We'll get to them on Thursday. The true Spitfire, Thea Hale. Give me Chase U, and much like Daniel says, we finally get the breakup of Fraxium.
Fraxium, I'm surprised I didn't brand that. Don't give WWE ideas. Good God, another Deborah but generic thing waiting to happen. All right, so that's one for Chase University. Now, for those that don't know how dipping usually goes, I usually have somebody set the ballot on decision, and I see if others agree or disagree here. So that being said, if you believe in Chase U, put it up. Unless you have a disagreement, we will move forward, going once, going twice. And Tim, you landscape, or do you agree in this as well? Because I know your landscape. I can barely see your hand.
I disagree with this. I don't think it's fair.
You disagree?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead. Why you believe that the titles are going to change hands?
I think they still lost in the first place, and I think that ICM and Frazier should get it back because I don't think like Riley Osborne is not gonna win the X division when we come to Friday night. So I think ICM and Frazier deserve the title back. One more run with it. With this one.
All right. That's fair. That's fair. I mean, it is one of those things where I do think about the last time they did held these tag team titles. I got you, brother. It is one of those things where I do think when they held these tag team titles last time they didn't held them for 50 days. But I also do think about the fact that Axel and Frazier, they held them for such a period of time. And I do think there's more potential in Axel and Frazier going singles. Why Chase U? What's Chase U if they don't stand together? Where I thought at one point Universal was about to close its doors. So, yeah. And as I made him a believer in Joe Hendry, I believe a bit more in Chase University. I say they do retain as well. But I respect that opinion, Tim, and we'll see what happens. Never hurts to not be unanimous. All right, so simply put, it's 4-1 right now in favor of Chase U.
Somebody clip that. You heard that, JJ. You heard what he said.
Shut up.
Right?
And if everyone believes that in the chat, then y'all can put your U's up there with the hands emojis as well. What's up, JJ? What?
I did have a question I wanted to ask Tim real quick, and that was what is left for Nathan Frazier and Axiom to do as champions? They've pretty much beaten everybody steadily multiple times. So what is there for them to still do as champions by getting it back?
Explain yourself, Tim. You've been put on the hot seat.
Yeah, I don't think they beat every team, first of all. Have they beat OC before? Or
Yeah.
They're playing other tag teams. Is there like new tag teams that just joined?
Hank and Tank, I think there was tag team on the scene, but they're still green as goose blank.
So I think there's, they may have a chance with the one run, but if they lose the tag team, I can see them going split, but I don't think they're gonna split right away. They're gonna lose titles.
All right. And again, as somebody that's been following NXT verbatim, I mean, again, I know their track record, and I'll talk more about that Sunday. All right. Well, that being said, let's go ahead and keep this moving forward. Walter, you're up next. And let's see how you dream, or if it has nightmares involved. Is Kalani able to overcome anything, including this walking nightmare? It's the NXT Women's North American Championship on the line, as Kalani Jordan will defend the gold this time against Wendy Chu. And of course, we already know Kalani Jordan has defended successfully against Soruka, and who you thought was the former running man Wendy Chu, until she put her to sleep, in Tatum Paxley. And we've already seen Wendy Chu try to play the mental game here, bringing forward TNA's Rosemary to challenge Kalani Jordan. And so we saw how far that went, though. But I think that was very interesting at the fact we had a former TNA Knockouts World Champion here. Again, that was pretty damn awesome. I almost do wonder that was a one-off, or has Wendy Chu found a different ally maybe in this NXT-TNA relationship? That being said, Kalani Jordan, of course, now world champion. Not much history here. The title is still very young as this identity continues to develop. But Kalani always says, Kalani can't do anything. Can Kalani beat a nightmare with her eyes open? Just saying. Walter, where do you stand this? Do you have a new NXT Women's North American Champion?
Well, Rosemary might be an X factor here. We don't know if it's a one-off, but no, I think Kalani keeps it here. She just won the title, June 9th? This is barely a little over 2 months. It's a brand new title. If you really, really want to establish it and make it mean something, you got to have the first champion have a little bit of a lengthy run with it so that it can mean something when somebody beats her for it. So I don't think you should change the title this fast. Like, it's barely over 2 months. Like, so maybe it's like 10 weeks, 11 weeks. So I feel like she has to keep the title here. It'll be a good match. Maybe a screwy finish or something, but I think Kalani keeps this title.
All right. So we got one right now for the champion retaining. Unless there's any disagreement, keep your hand down. Otherwise, hold your hand up and we will move forward, because I think this match pretty much is cut and dry as far as decision. So title retention, going once, going twice. All right. Unanimous ballot. The ayes have it. Again, I think you pretty much said it perfectly. Kalani Jordan, the very first champion, and you have been about this verbatim when it comes to champions, JJ. You don't need a long run, but you need a long enough run to elevate both yourself and this title. And so far, 2 defenses, I think she has a little bit more left. I think she should at least go in as champion during this, keep in mind, transition with the network where they go live, and they got 2 of their biggest shows coming up in Chicago and St. Louis. If this title is going to change hands, I think it's going to go down in a special way during one of those 2 shows, in my opinion. Let's see here. I saw you thinking for a moment. I wasn't sure if he has his hand. He does have his hand up, and now I'll go to you. JJ, what you got to add to this?
I agree with you in what you're saying about St. Louis and Chicago, but Kalani should not be losing that title until Stand and Deliver at the soonest. Also, I know you don't watch NXT on a weekly basis, so I would go back and try to find the clips of this. Look at the way that Rosemary was looking at Wendy while Wendy was choking Lonnie out. I think Rosemary has found a new soulmate, and we may start seeing a new tag team crossing over on both Impact and NXT television.
Oh boy.
There was definitely a level of admiration being... I don't know if I would reroll there for a moment. There was definitely a level of admiration being shown between Rosemary and Wendy that I think we need to tap into.
Well, considering the TNA Knockouts 10 division right now has 2 teams, maybe 3, a third in development if we're looking at, like, you know, what Brookside could be doing with somebody. I think you might be onto something, and we need new challengers for both the TNA Knockouts Tag Championships and the WWE Women's Tag Team Champions. And I don't want to see either of these titles flip-flop, let alone with a pre-existing team that I'm like, why are you doing this again? If you know, you know, folks. So, yeah, and with Rosemary saying that she's really lost everything since the fall of Decay, Jessica Havoc's gone, there's no Crazy Steve, there's no Tag Gold. She's changed her look. She's changed her demeanor, where now she literally captures every victory with a black rose. It's almost she's giving her opponent a burial. There might be something developing here, but I also want to consider where Tatum Paxley might play in this, and might she seek revenge against Wendy Chu? And it's a whole different form of something ahead of the Halloween season about to come forward with 3 different nightmares across 2 different companies. Just saying. But as far as this match goes, Kalani Jordan's retaining. I don't think there's no argument there. All right. Well, let's go ahead.
with Halloween Havoc and Wendy Chu, they have a really missed opportunity. I know that much.
Accurate. That's accurate. That's absolutely accurate.
Just a quick note, before you move on. Like right now, like Kalani is being shown like she's vulnerable. I mean, she's been choked out 3 times in the last 3 weeks.
Right.
So this is like a easy prediction. Like she's gonna overcome the odds, like just like John Cena, and continue her journey until she faces somebody worthy with that title and established it.
Oh, fair enough. I mean, again, how strong is a champion versus the championship and vice versa. And again, if it seems as cut as dry as what you've been seeing so far, the opposite result likely happening on the bigger stage makes sense to me. It just further adds to the consensus of what we all believe in as far as this match goes, that Kalani's retaining. And yeah, I've seen the mental warfare since that Doll showcase where basically Tatum wanted to play, and she played and got put to sleep. Now Wendy Chu's playing with Kalani Jordan. And Rosemary might be her playmate in this case. Good luck, champ. I don't think you're going to need it, but I wouldn't take Wendy Chu likely, especially if you know her from her identity. All right. Well, as we think that that's pretty obvious and the result's going to remain the same when it comes to Kalani Jordan retaining, is this result going to remain the same? Emmanuel, as I go to you, because the most dominant figure this year, bite me if you think otherwise, in NXT, the unopposed, unstoppable, unmatched ruler of NXT, Obafemi, defends the NXT North American Championship against the Don, Tony D'Angelo, the former Heritage Cup holder. I'm just saying. That being said, Obafemi, of course, been the unstoppable juggernaut, of course, since winning the Breakout 20 and beating Dragon Lee for this title, beating every form of adversary and opponent you could put in front of him in singles and in triple threats and even handicap encounters. You think about people that came to the aid of Joe Coffey like Gallus. We most recently saw him overcome Otis. His track record includes Josh Briggs. It includes Wes Lee. It includes Joe Coffey. It includes Dijak. This guy is a walking anomaly. Or as one person once said, ML with a marker, a bad motherfucker. That being said, though, Tony D'Angelo, former Heritage Cup holder, you would think we would go back after that. Charlie Dempsey got the win thanks to assistance by, what's her name? Winston Clare. Again, WWE names. But he decided to change business plans, got his eyes a different prize. And now he's going out to the NXT North American Championship, even with the family in the corner and this man's pride saying that I do this for you. I don't need you guys to get involved. I just need you to continue to believe in me and support me. I almost do think the result is going to remain the same. But again, Emmanuel, where do you stand in this? Do you actually think Tony D has a chance to dethrone Obafemi for the NXT North American Championship?
I was thinking about it like tonight. I mean, like who does Oba drop the title to? I mean, and right now how NXT is planning things, I feel like they might give it to Tony D'Angelo for all I know, and actually get the truck win. I mean, like I feel like the Heritage Cup was like temporarily, like he's climbing the steps of success, like any mob boss. He's gained power little by little until he gets the NXT title. So I feel like it may be a title change, this Sunday. I mean, like other than that, I don't see anybody probably defeating him unless it's Gabon. But like he's not even there yet. I mean, like maybe to stand and deliver, but that's a little bit too long. So I think it's Tony D'Angelo's time to get the North American Championship and progress his journey to become the head honcho of the NXT in the future.
Wow. And here I thought this match was truly about forget about it. Okay. Well, already the chat's partisan, so I'm expecting others to be partisan here. That being said, Emmanuel has opened the ballot to a title change here. Tony D, new NXT North American champion. Does anyone... Man, I didn't even have to say anything. Okay, I have a feeling we're all going to have something to say about this. Let's just go around the horn. So that being said, Tim, we'll start with you. Why do you think that Obafemi is going to retain? Then JJ, then Walter, as we continue. Go
I
ahead,
think
Tim.
Chain go into 25, then have Moose. Because I know they're rumored to have Moose and
Here we are holding out for Moose again.
Well, yo, Moose, okay? Yeah, system. You believe in the system, Noah. Okay, thank you.
No, I don't.
but no, but I saw rumors that they're gonna have Moose versus Oba. So like, not for a title match, but it'd be cool to have like something different, you know, when Oba has the title, or have like someone from NXT challenge Oba for title on TNA. Have because well, if Oba could beat Tony, who's else is left? Nobody.
Fair point. I get what you're saying when it comes to how much competition do you feed this guy to the point that it almost becomes ridiculous. You might as well just create a list of victims. All right, so Tim believes that Obafemi is unopposed, and the result will remain the same. That's 1-1. Thank you, Tim. All right, JJ, ball's in your court. I mean, again, this guy has been the most dominant figure, wrestler, competitor, champion in the entire WWE ecosystem consistently, we're being honest here, for 2024. And you see how long he's had this title. We're going on now freaking 8 months. So when does things give? Is Tony D the guy to do it? And does he do it maybe on his own, or does the family have to get involved here? Where do you stand?
Well, I definitely agree that Oba is going to retain here. I think this is the instance where if we're going to do a title change on one of the brand new episodes of the CW, either Chicago or St. Louis, this is the one that you do. You know, I don't know how realistic Moose is. However, just a little tidbit about our leader of the system. He was a former football player who played for the New England Patriots,
Correct.
Indianapolis Colts, and the St. Louis Rams. Second episode of NXT on CW is in St. Louis. So again, going back to Tim's point, going back to my point, this is the type of belt that you pull a trigger on one of those big shows, and with Moose's connection to St. Louis, if he was going to be that guy, that's where you do it.
That's fair. I mean, I also think about this being the Workhorse Championship. You always want to get those unique surprises, those unique developments, those unique challengers on the grander stages to really capture that moment, to really make somebody over. I mean, just look at what happened when AJ Lee, of course, beat Paige when she arrived onto the main scene. So somebody, whether they arrive from the main roster NXT, whether it is Moose, which right now I think everyone's holding out for, I do think that the ruler needs to find somebody to humble him. But yeah, for me, it just doesn't feel like Tony D is that guy yet. But it also tells you that Tony D probably won't just call this a one-off either. We know how determined this guy is to prove why he is the Don of NXT. Just saying.
Yeah. Realistically, I kind of agree with Chris in the chat. I think Javon Evans, Mr. Bouncy, could be the one to do it and become the new Wesley, the new Carmelo Hayes of the North American Championship. But adding to his Moose theory, I just wanted to point out he was a former Ram. Second episode on the CW is going to be St. Louis. Like, if it was going to be Moose, that would be the time to do it. But I agree with Chris. I see it being Javon Evans.
If you're keeping it in-house, I mean, I think that guy's got incredible potential, and that literally is a match of power versus pace, or bouncing in this case, to be
as
determined.
long as he doesn't get hurt.
As
long as he doesn't get hurt with his high-risk bounciness.
Yeah, all it takes is one misstep.
Even Tigger had to tape up his tail every now and again. Bouncing too much.
This is accurate. Even I understand that reference. When I was once a wee lad, I did watch Winnie the Pooh. All right. Well, that being said, it's one change, two retentions. Walter, you close things out. Where do you stand in all this? I mean, again, Obafemi, is there an obstacle that can oppose him? And is it power or is it speed? Maybe one of those is the Achilles heel, and maybe that's what needs to be focused on. But with Tony D, Is there a strategy? Where do you stand, Walter?
I don't know, but let's not kid ourselves. Tony D has some power too. I've seen him doing some stuff, and I did doubt him before. I didn't think he was going to win the Heritage Cup when he did. I voted against him, and look, he won.
Same.
So he does have surprises in him. But yeah, I'm with JJ. I think he wins, and when you're doing something brand new and you're moving to a new network, you want people to tune in, and you want that anything can happen on a weekly basis vibe. So you do a title change because then people will go, oh, I need to tune into NXT every week because anything can happen at any time, and you pull in more viewers. So you almost have to do it on it. People might say, oh, it's a regular NXT episode, but still, it's on a new network. New fans might be tuning in just because, oh, let me see what this change is all about, and that's how you hook new people. You got to think business wise too. At the end of the day, it's called the wrestling business. So that I feel like Oba keeps it, and he loses on one of them the new episodes of NXT. I'm right with JJ.
Yeah.
I mean, for years the tagline was "Anything can happen in the WWF."
Yeah.
Exactly.
And now with this NXT and a crossover, truly anything could happen in NXT, which is the brand to watch in WWE, unless you like bootleg Bloodline, bootleg Judgment Day. I'm not judging. I'm just saying that's also where I stand too. But I will give this shout out to Uncle Howdy for honoring Bray Wyatt, as we're just a little bit over a year of his passing. Incredible moment and fun match last night on Monday Night Raw. The only thing I watched from that show. That being said, Matt Helms, good to see you. Dwayne Atkinson, appreciate you. And again, is he trying to get in the champion's head? Is he doubting himself? I mean, again, just saying, you're putting a lot of pressure on yourself, Tony D. Good luck. But yeah, I agree with the consensus here that Obafemi is retaining. If the title's going to change hands, you're either going to do it on the premiere, because one of the titles has to give, in my opinion, during the CW premiere, one of those 2 weeks. I just got to see at least one change, because like you said, Walter, trying to hook in a new audience, trying to hook in new fans, and whether it's TNA or in the house from WWE, you got to have some big moments one of those 2 weeks, not both weeks, besides Randy Orton and CM Punk showing up, blah, 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 blah. So, yeah, I think Obafemi loses it during that time, but I definitely have Obafemi retaining come Sunday. This guy is an absolute freak of nature, and I have loved watching his run and watching him during these matches. So I think Obafemi is personally going to become the NXT champion by Stand Deliver next year. That's how much I have literally bought into this individual. Yes, Emmanuel, I see your hand before we move on.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if Oba does retain. Only entertain the thought of it because of like the CW change. That's the only reason I probably thought I'm leaning towards that way. But it wouldn't surprise me if you guys are right. Maybe there's a time change on the CW. Like it wouldn't surprise me at all. But that's my thought why I went for Tony, because of like a new channel. They might do a celebration, and someone's going to challenge Tony, maybe somebody new that we haven't seen at NXT, and that's how you get more viewers. But who knows? Let's see what Shawn Michaels has installed for us.
Yeah, what's he cooking up in that kitchen that's not named Moose? Because everyone's clamoring for Moose vs. Obafemi, and do we actually get Worlds Collide made official before the end of the year? Because we still don't know if we're going to get NXT deadline, which likely we will, because that has been a standard to close out the year under the WWE banner. Just saying. But again, changes happen. So we'll see. All right. Good stuff. And we may have convinced Emmanuel here. Yes, JJ, I see your hand up.
I just wanted to touch on something you said a moment ago before we move on. You've got a bootleg Bloodline on Friday night.
Yes.
You got a bootleg Judgment Day on Monday night, but you've got an authentic, esteemed university every Tuesday night.
That's because it's only one of its kind, and I still have not seen its accreditation, so I am not going to hold it to that standard. I may start believing in JSU, but I damn sure ain't enrolling. All right? Don't go there, JJ. Don't you try something with me. Dadgum you.
At least it's not bootleg.
I'll give you that for now. All right. Well, moving on, as we saw this combustible confrontation come ahead, and we're talking about Tim Reliable covering both NXT and TNA this weekend. Someone's got to give with these former two rascals where Wesley said, "You left me alone." And as JJ gave it to me, thank you, JJ, it is now official. NXT TNA, let's talk about it. It is Wesley versus Zachary Wentz, the former Rascals, going one-on-one for the first time ever. So, simply put, we know the story behind this match. Of course, Wesley, after losing to Obafemi, excuse me, sorry, freaking that. Of course, we thought that he was going to leave NXT, and one time he did take his ball and go home, but he came back. But after knowing now he can't challenge the NXT North American Championship again, all of a sudden he got renewed spirit brought back into him by his Rascals as Trey Miguel and Zachary Wentz crossed the line into NXT, and the Rascals were reborn as the three. Ever since they became a trio, they were undefeated in trios action, including against Gallus and North Dakota Catch Crew. And of course, as a trio, they earned the tag opportunity. When they finally got the opportunity for the former MSK to try and become tag team champions once again after their last run abruptly ended, they were this close, but Wesley was the one that ate the pin, and they lost. But the thing about it is, it's not about those titles. It's about Wesley, who says that, again, you guys left me. And truth be told, he's right. He was left alone. We know that Zachary Wentz is involved in Ultimate X. We know Wesley has no direction, but he's already put his name out there that, again, I'm going to make this all about me, including attacking Joe Hendry prior to Joe Hendry becoming the number one contender. That being said, we'll talk about that in our main event. But bottom line, it's NXT versus TNA once again, this time on NXT's stage. No title on the line, but simply pride. And this will be after Emergence. So that also begs the question, does Wesley show up and cost his rascal there? I wouldn't rule it out. That being said, let's go around the horn and see what everyone thinks about this. And Tim, we will start with you. NXT or TNA, Wesley or Zachary Wentz? Who you got winning this first time one-on-one grudge contest?
I think Wesley will win, but I think he also would interfere in the X Division match and costing Zachary Wentz the match at Emergence the night, like 2 nights before. So I think Wesley will win this match against Zachary Wentz.
All right. Thank you, Prodigal Man, Pancake Man. I can't read that. By the way, Prodigal Man, great song. All right, so we got Prodigal Man with Wesley doing a famous Prodigal Can. I got you. So we got one for TNA. Again, it's NXT TNA, and you got to consider Wesley being a former NXT North American champion, if by some weird divine invention, because I'm not picking him. But of course, talk more about that during Stupid Dating on TNA Emergence, Thursday night, 10:50 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, folks. Stay tuned for that. If Zachary Wentz wins Ultimate X, that means that he could become the X Division champion, or excuse me, it's actually for the X Division championship. Let me correct that. So if Wentz wins Friday, Wesley wins Sunday, you could very well have an X Division championship match in your hands, either in NXT or TNA between these two. A little bit of cause and effect. So does Wesley more focus on this and hope that Wentz wins on Friday? Or does he cost Wentz in the first place, saying that he doesn't want Wentz to have a singles championship versus him being a prolific NXT North American championship? That being said, it's one Wesley as we start the ballot. This match, to me, has a lot of stakes when it comes to cause and effect and where both men's futures could go. Because Trey Miguel right now is nowhere to be found. I almost wonder who's going to be in Wentz's corner. Let's go around the horn and see what everyone else thinks here. JJ, what about you? What do you think about this?
I think it's interesting that you brought that up because that's the way I'm leaning. I kind of agree with Arlene here. I'm leaning towards Zachary Wentz picking up the victory, but it'll be by disqualification. I think Zach Wentz is going to get, I don't know. I feel like they may end up running this back at Victory Road. Because Victory Road's just going to be a couple weeks away on Friday the 13th, September.
Correct.
So, I could see this one being run back that quickly on Zach's turf. And then again, the rubber match could be saved for Chicago or St. Louis. Have the big blow off on one of the big CW premiere shows.
I almost wonder if this could escalate to Trey Miguel versus Wesley as Zachary Wentz gets injured by their former Rascal. And could these two have a fall at Bound for Glory TNA's biggest
or
pay-per-view
Halloween
of the year.
Havoc.
Yep. Trick or treat. So there's a lot of
But
cause and
yeah,
effect
like
here.
I definitely think Wesley's going to get involved during Emergence, though. That's why I say, like, once they made this official, I think they pretty much gave that part away, because that's just going to add more fuel to the fact that they have a match on Sunday. I almost wouldn't have announced the match here tonight. I would have had Wesley interfere at Emergence and then have a backstage segment where they set up the match right then for a couple nights later at No Mercy.
Yeah, how fitting. You caused me this opportunity. You broke our friendship. Now I'm going to truly show you no mercy. I almost wish it kind of was one of those things where it was unsanctioned. So literally it was just made on the spot because it wasn't made official by Ever Rain. But you two want this fight so bad. Okay, since Team Morale and I agree, you guys can kick each other's ass this Sunday at No Mercy. We are not liable if either of you injure anything. Don't destroy our property. That's what I kind of was holding out for, because I do think that intensity is there with these two to get to that point. But again, based on what you think, disqualification, maybe that's where it could escalate. All right, so we got 1-1 so far. This is interesting. I like this. Walter, where do you stand? Again, you and I are covering Emergence this Friday. Zach Wentz has a chance to become the X Division champion. So already, Wentz has got to be of two minds. Yes.
Really quickly. You keep saying you and Walter. I'm going to be there too, both for Friday and Sunday. I don't have to work my other job. It's going to be a 3-man booth for those shows.
I didn't know that.
NXT is going to be all three of us, bruv.
I didn't know that. Thank you for making that official. I'm looking forward to it. See, I don't know the details. Nobody tells me anything. I'm freaking learning stuff on the spot as much as anybody. Dadgummit. That being said,
I put it in the chats. You just don't always read the chats. You mute the chats.
I did see that he put it in the chat. That's why I was going to correct you too. I was like, it's a 3-man group.
Well, thank you for clarifying that. And if All In was any example, this 3-person group is going to be just as fun with NXT and TNA this weekend. So, bunch of my prime, thank you for telling me that. And yeah, for those that don't know, I have no notifications unless I'm either tagged or it's something important, because I don't have to live in the internet. Learn something, folks. Touch grass. Don't smoke it. That being said, unless you're doing it for health reasons, properly.
Just make sure you visit me when you want something.
Oh, shut up.
I was gonna say, if you're gonna smoke it, go to Cal Fire Farms. Also, maybe we'll give you a discount if you buy in bulk.
Right. Plug for freaking cannabis. Good grief almighty. Anyway, Walter, go ahead. Your thoughts on this match. It's 1-1 so far with Wesley and Sucker Wentz. Where do you stand?
To be honest, I would love to actually see Wentz win the X Division Championship and then lose it to Wesley right on Sunday. Like I would actually love to actually see that, but I don't think they're gonna do it, because I would do what JJ said. You have Wesley interfere and you announce the match that Saturday. You don't do it now because you kind of ruined what's gonna happen on TNA. I completely agree with JJ on that. But that being said, by hook or by crook, I think Wesley wins, because you need to solidify why he went heel. I feel like if he loses the first match, it kind of proves he was the wink link of the Rascals. He lost. That's why Wentz can beat him. His whole point of turning heel is, you guys turned your back on me. You guys need me. I don't need you. And if he loses the first match, he kind of he doesn't prove his point. He's wrong. He needs them. If he loses, they don't need him. Like it kind of screws his whole point and his whole reasoning for going heel. Unless it's by some kind of crappy finish or anything. But still, to me, you got to make a strong statement on that first one, that whether you cheat or not, I would cheat, solidify his actual heel turn, because it's hard to kind of buy Wesley as a heel. To me, it's like, I like the guy, his whole style. It's hard to get behind a high flying person that's all speed and doing all the showboating moves that people love as a heel. It's kind of like, it's hard. You can pull it off with the right person, but it's just hard for me to get behind that. So if you really, really want to solidify his heel turn, you got to give him the first victory, and you do some kind of screwy finish where he wins by cheating, and that's what leads to the more matches. But he's got to get the first one.
Well, I also echo the sentiments so far of those that picked Wesley to win, because I agree with that, because I also do think about this. if Wesley pushes Zachary Wentz over the edge, Zachary Wentz might get himself disqualified, just take out all his anger on Wesley. And at the end of the day, does Wesley still win in proving how weak and vulnerable his Rascals are when it comes to emotions? We talk about emotions running high at All In, occurs from Mariah and Tony Storm, arguably match of the night. Don't at me. But it's one of those things where I do think right now Wesley needs to make the statement, either in victory or defeat. And if he's out to hurt his former Rascal friend, I don't think victory is going to be enough to cut it. And to Dwayne's point, we talk about Trey Miguel. If Wentz is at a point with Wesley where Wesley might literally injure him or cost him something, I could see Trey Miguel getting involved here, and we escalate this to Trey Miguel versus Wesley, because I do think that Trey versus Wesley is the end game, because I look at the Rascals, I look at the most prolific performers, I look at Trey Miguel, and not just because he's from Toledo, Ohio, 419 represent, being a former multiple-time X Division champion. I think Trey versus Wesley will be very interesting, considering we already seen MSK in NXT. Now we're seeing the fallout with that tag team. We have not seen Trey Miguel versus Wesley in any capacity. And I would say Trey Miguel was literally the founder of the Rascals in the first place. And the fact that Trey Miguel hasn't had yet a singles match in NXT, there's a program to develop right there on NXT stage between NXT and TNA. So, again, I think Trey comes in post-match to stop Wesley from assaulting Zachary Wentz. But regardless, I got Wesley getting the decision in victory. DQ or normal, I still think Wesley's winning. Yes, Walter, before we go to Manuel.
Believe it or not, just to throw a wrench in there, what if we get the opposite? What if Trey Miguel helps Wesley and he blames Zach for why they broke up? It's like, if you would have just kept yours together, the three of us could have ruled this thing and you ruined it. And Wesley is the one getting in Trey Miguel's ear. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but that possibility is there. You never know. And then you can tease the dissension into what side is Trey Miguel really on. You can kind of tease it and keep it going for the next few months until he finally snaps and make his decision happen. He doesn't have to do it here, but Trey Miguel can stay out of it for a little bit. And then when you think he's coming out to help, Zachary, he's really on Wesley's side. It'll be interesting if you did something like that. Just throwing it out there.
He did turn heel when it came to winning the vacant X Division Championship, so he's no stranger to doing that. But to turn heel against Zachary Wentz, where he actually won the TNA Tag Team titles with, that would be a WTF moment, because I would not think Trey would be the heel in this situation in any capacity, but I know that Trey sometimes can be about himself. So I like that innovative booking. You're really trying to turn the page in the entire Rascals dynamic, where right now Wesley might be pulling the strings the whole time. But we'll see. In the meantime, though, right now, I'm still going with Wesley. Emmanuel, to close things out here, unless someone raises their hand, where do you stand in this one-on-one match with NXT TNA and the Rascals fallout?
Yeah, I mean, it looks like it's Zachary Wentz, for the win. I mean, he really needs to. Sorry about that. Yeah, he needs to prove himself that he is, worthy, and like he can't hold his 2 feet by himself. I mean, like, where is his partner gonna be? Is he gonna help Zachary? And because West attacked both of them, like, so. Who's to say that the Rascals were going to cost West the matchup? But then again, like you guys mentioned right now, like he might turn heel and West, play Zachary like in the fiddle with his little fingers. So it's kind of intriguing where he is. As of right now, I think Zachary needs to win this and continue the feud. I mean, I get that West needs to further win and establish them, but not right away, because I think he's gonna say, if it weren't for your Rascal buddy helping you out, I would have won that match, and that would give them more reason to have that match again.
Gotcha. It just feels like to me right now, this match truly going away, and it's going to continue either at NXT or TNA. And if that Friday development happens, that might be the effect we need to truly lock in our decision. And again, you guys are not locked by your decisions. Like they say, Carson did change. I say predictions of the change. Your predictions are not official until I put them official on the form. The form closes out 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Sunday night. And thank you, Chris, by the way, for that update. The show actually starts at 7, not at 8. So that's good to know. All right. But majority right now does look like we're kind of partisan, but we primarily do think that Wesley needs to win here to really keep this going. And you're re-rolling, but I see you kind of glitching there. So you might want to refresh or drop it and drop out. There we go. Oop, that was Pancake Man. Oop. All the technology. And that is quite a picture. Manuel, you might want to drop it and drop back out as your technical difficulties are occurring. Just saying. Anyway, while he figures that out, we'll go ahead and move on here. And JJ, you're on the bubble here. And then Manuel will check back with you once you get your technology in order. Okay, everyone good? All right, Tim's back. We're going to make sure everyone's good back here. So again, folks, where do you stand on NXT or TNA? Do you want to see a Worlds collide? Do you think that Wesley and Zachary Wentz descends into maybe extreme circumstances like Full Metal Mayhem, no DQ, a street fight? How visceral does this rivalry get? Let me go ahead and try and bring them in again. All right, everyone's back in. Good deal. You're not re-rolling. All right. And you're Manuel. You're not re-rolling. So, Manuel, I saw your hand up. Go ahead real quick. You have one last spot?
Yeah, I was about to say, if Rest doesn't interfere in that match in the emergence, then, it's pretty clear that West is going to win. But if West doesn't interfere, it's most likely Zachary's going to take it. So let's see what happens in the emergence and see if West gets involved in this matchup or not.
Fair enough. All right, well, let's go ahead and go to I like to call it double main because the most important, the most prolific, the most respectable, the most effective, the most fighting women's champion in the WWE landscape right now is, of course, defender goat against all comers. And right now we're in-house. But I'm just going to put it out there. I think our opponent's getting wasted. Shout out to my fellow gamers. Let's go ahead and talk about the NXT Women's Championship match, shall we? As the prodigy herself, the champion, the competitor on a whole nother level, Roxanne Perez defends the NXT Women's Championship against Jada Parker, the OTM. Jada Parker, of course, who earned this opportunity, and I believe was it a 5 or 6-way contest, multiple woman contest, was able to outlast the field and finally lock in this opportunity. Been impressing us lately with her street fight fallouts with Meacham and the OC, Bootleg Bullet Club. We also, of course, look at Soruka, who we think has a credible upside. That Heptonic, though, we've seen her get a few wins under her belt. Former all-collegiate volleyball player who literally lost out going nationally and changed her career into going into professional wrestling. And we've seen what she has broken out into ever since her chance at that ladder match at NXT Battleground. But for me, I think with Roxanne Perez, again, we keep talking about two names yet to arrive in NXT. We've already seen her take on all comers within NXT and the TNA Knockouts World Champion. Again, she's on her level right now when it comes to what it means to be a champion and what it means to be a badass heel character about an adolescent child or somebody that's underwhelming. What? I'm just keeping it short, sweet, and simple here because as an advocate of women's wrestling, Roxanne Perez right now is probably my favorite women's champion in this business with the best competitors going. Roxanne's retaining. There's no way I see Roxanne losing this title right now, especially before that network development. And again, Stella Valkyrie, we know she's in WWE. Is she going to be part of NXT? Don't know. Julia, who said Arrivederci and Marigold, she's on her way to the States. Will she start out in NXT? We don't know. We don't know what's ahead for the Prodigy when it comes to Halloween Havoc. We don't know what's ahead at the network specials. We know CM Punk's going to be in Chicago. We know her and CM Punk had a fallout at one point backstage. Does that pick up? And maybe we finally start planting the seeds for Roxanne Perez versus Cora Jade, which I do think is going to be the program for Stand and Deliver and probably the most important program you could fill right now in the NXT Women's Division. But right now, I'm saying that Roxanne Perez retains. Now, before I open it up to the rest, please welcome, of course, Gator Man himself. Hey, Dwayne Atkinson, you made it. Good to see you. Glad you made it for the semi-mains. Before I give it to you, because you haven't spoken at all, and someone's microphone's picking up. That might be yours, Dwayne. Go ahead and speak.
What's up, guys? How y'all doing?
Doing well.
I apologize for my tardiness. I'm on vacation right now and I don't have a laptop, so I'm having to use this phone. Um, I did want to kind of chime in on the two main events that you was talking about though. So
Go for it.
uh, I'm definitely looking forward to NXT for this one. Surprisingly, nobody's talked about possibly debuts, so I'm hoping we can talk about this one here pretty soon.
Fair enough. Yep. And Chase U apparently is on the screen, so it must be recess or lunchtime. All right. But that being said, we're talking about the NXT Women's Championship. What do you think about Jada Parker's chances against Roxanne Perez? This is her first huge singles title opportunity since the fall of that ladder match. And what do you expect here to come out of this? And do you have Roxanne retaining?
Yes, I do. And the fact is, Jada Parker's going to really stand out in this match. She's going to show her true colors of what she can really do. She does not need OTM, in my personal opinion, but she's going to be there to help Roxanne Perez because we're going to probably see the debut of Julia finally. And that's what
Yeah,
I
I can
think.
definitely
What
see that.
they're holding off on Roxanne losing the title because it's going to be Julia versus Roxanne Perez. What's the next one? I can't remember what's the next one
Halloween
after
Havoc
Heat
should be
Wave.
next.
So yeah, that's the one I think they're holding off for, personally.
All right. Fair enough. Let's go ahead and get everyone else's thoughts here. I do think the decision is going to be unanimous, but I think where we go from is probably where we're going to build off of a conversation. So let's go ahead and start things off with you, JJ, as advocates of women's wrestling as well. And again, this is the priority. This is your leader, face of NXT's women's division. Are we the face of your NXT, if we're being honest here? Where do you stand with the state of the NXT Women's Championship, and who could go after Roxanne Perez next? And what could be waiting for her maybe going into the network? And do you think Jada Parker has a chance? You're muted. Go ahead, unmute. Better.
Sorry, I was going over to my YouTube so I could get rid of this Curvin dude who's trolling in the chat. So
Oh, okay. No worries. And again, folks, support one another, respect each other, be polite. Go ahead.
To answer the question, do I think Jada Parker has a chance? Let me start at that one. Of course she does. All it takes is 3 seconds, any given Sunday, right? That's what we're always taught in sports.
Accurate.
So, and especially if you watch the way she's risen up the ranks since the breakout tournament. They chronicled that a little bit tonight in an interview, which I know you missed.
Yep.
There was also something at the very end of that interview that was very telling and kind of plays into Dwayne's thoughts and some of the other people's in the chat's thoughts. You know, Jada was getting ready to leave after slapping the taste out of Roxanne's mouth, and she was speaking to someone in the distance. What are you doing here? I've heard about you. You can get some too.
True.
Could it be Stephanie Vakir? Could it be Julia? Could it be someone else?
Oh,
Julia just ended her run. So definitely could be her coming back. We've already seen her in the crowd. Stephanie Vakir, they were just trying to get her paperwork in order for her to be working in the States. You know WWE's legal. They can probably get that shit handled very quickly.
Yes.
So it could very easily be either one of those. Do they cost Roxanne the title, helping Jada become champion? Do they cost Jada the shot because they want to be the ones to dethrone Roxanne? I think a lot of it has to do with if they're being brought in as a face or a heel, because I think a face has to beat her. And I don't know enough about Julia and Stephanie Vakir to know if they tend to work more as faces or heels. You could probably answer that for me, Noah. But
what you've done.
I still think that Cora Jade is going to be the one to defeat Roxanne coming full circle. And then Stephanie or Julia is going to be the one to challenge Cora Jade come Stand and Deliver. Cora Jade has been shown on social media going through her final tests to potentially get cleared, get back in the ring. Again, we talk about big moves on the CW debuts. Cora Jade's return would be a huge pop for one of those shows.
Exactly.
And despite the fact that she was heel when she left, when you come back from an injury, you tend to get a pop. Just ask Triple H about that at the Garden.
Mm-hmm.
So,
well, to answer your question,
I definitely.
Sorry.
No, go ahead, because you're going to answer my thing about Julia and Vakir.
The thing about Julia and Vakir is, again, one's from Japan, the other one's from Mexico. Down in Mexico, City, Vakir had more of a vicious side to her, especially when it came to holding on to both the CML Women's World and CML Women's World Tag Team Championships alongside her tag team partner. Julia, who ran Repshot and Stardom as Donna Del Mundo's leader, she went for an emotional journey where most of the time she was heel as leader of her faction, doing everything possible to bring beautiful insanity through violence, to the point she risked her hair at one point and lost it. But when she came back, it was more of a sympathetic journey as she basically mended bridges, including with somebody that was once like a sister with her. So, case in point, I would say that both Stephanie and Julia, when it comes to coming into WWE, they're both going to be perceived as faces.
Okay. If they're going to come in and be perceived as faces, then it definitely could be Julia that's going to dethrone Roxanne. And I think it'll be Roxanne's biggest test to date.
Oh, no doubt.
Especially since we've already seen her in the crowd. I don't think they'll do Stephanie Vakir for that. Stephanie Vakir has already battled the main roster. I don't know why they would send her to NXT. She did the house shows in Mexico when she left and was working against main roster people.
Yep.
Julia, I could see doing the NXT run, but not a long one. From debut, maybe till Stand and Deliver, and then get drafted to the main roster.
Yeah, it's one of those fans.
Roxanne Perez retains.
Yeah. The bottom line, no one's going to say Roxanne's losing here. The bottom line, though, I see both those two with their incredible caliber of talent and already wrestling experience. They would be at NXT for a short stint, maybe one special showcase. That maybe that would do with Stephanie. And Julia being one of the most prolific World of Stardom champions and competitors in recent modern Stardom history. The sky's the limit for that Italian, British, Japanese sensation with her beautiful insanity. But also, just put that out there, the typical, what is it, like tell the tape or story in wrestling is heel versus face. We're dealing with two heels in this match, folks. I'm just saying. Just saying. That being said, Walter, I saw your hand up the entire time. What do you guys say to add to this before I think we got Dwayne with a comment? Then I think we'll move on if no one has anything else. Go ahead.
I just wanted to add to JJ's, fuel to his fire. Cora Jade originally is from Chicago, and that's where the first CW NXT is. So if you're gonna bring her back, there you go. Just saying. I just wanted to add fuel to his fire. So she's originally from Chicago.
Yep.
Oh.
That's why I brought up CM Punk. That's why I brought up Chicago. And keep in mind, Roxanne Perez can add even more fuel, saying CM Punk's result from back to Berlin or its fall with Drew McIntyre. CM Punk might not be the only one dropping pipe bombs in Chicago, for all we know, considering, again, Roxanne and Cora are two daughters, it feels like, to him. So this Chicago show could be very interesting if these two go face to face.
And JJ pretty much said what I was going to say with the whole thing of what happened at NXT and her talking off screen. It's either Stephanie Vakir, it's either Julia, or it already is Cora Jade back there, and that's who she was talking to, saying, "What the hell are you doing here?" So one of those three people are going to have something to do with the outcome Sunday, or show up after the match. Maybe not even interfere. Don't cheapen it. Just once Roxanne wins, that music hits of which one of those three or whoever, and they just come out and go nose to nose with Roxanne, and you don't need them to actually have anything to do with the results, but just tease a future match between them, and I'll be happy as hell.
Same. Again, most important women's champion in WWE. Shout out to Dattila, by the way, who's joining us. Thank you. Check her out, folks, at Rangers of Wrestling. Hope you have fun at Morphicon. And she also believes that Roxanne retains and possibly Judah debuts. And take a line from Double J. Daniel believes that we are in her world like we were in Jeff Jarrett's world. Roxanne Perez retains as well, and also Arlene retains. So it's unanimous across the board that she is retaining. So there's that. All right, Manuel, I acknowledge and I see your finger up. What do you have to say before we move on to Dwayne Dark?
Yeah, I'm just going to say quick note. In the worst case scenario, Ava is the one who defeats Roxanne because there's more story between Ava versus Roxanne than anything else in this entire roster right now. If you think about it.
Okay, he's got me with the story bit. And considering she's a former competitor, JJ, I don't need to see a 40 figures getting in the ring, trying to get involved in championship matches. I'm over that era. I'm just saying.
I'm over that era too, but think about this for a moment. Noah, think about this for a moment.
Go ahead.
Okay, just walk with me. Actually, no, don't walk with me. Take a seat with me under the schism tree.
Oh, you.
Ava tried to be a competitor and was greener than baby shit. So they gave her this role to keep her on camera, to help her work on her promo ability, her mic ability, because she's heavily featured every week in a talking role. That way people don't forget about her. They keep the daughter of The Rock on television. Somebody that could potentially be factored into the bootleg bloodline, as we so generously call it here.
Accurate also call.
All the while, she's working on her ability during the week. She's training. She's getting better at the ring so that when she gets back to having matches, she's not greener than baby shit anymore. And what better way to do that than to come to a final confrontation with Roxanne, because Roxanne feels that Ava keeps trying to stack the odds against her. And Ava show what she's learned over this past year and dethrone the prodigy.
I'm definitely picking up.
Before you jump to a no, never happened, take all that in and seriously think about that for a moment, Noah.
That's beautiful booking, JJ.
It's an interesting booking idea, but I also do wonder what does that mean for the general manager of NXT? CM Punk becomes the GM. Because that's CM Punk's endgame. He's already said that verbatim. He said that verbatim. I'm just saying. He said that verbatim. CM Punk, Ava Raine, Cora Jade. Yeah.
Mr. Stone becomes the new head of NXT.
Oh, geez. He and Stevie Turner are going to have a mixed one-on-one match for that position before that guy gets given the seat. I'll tell you that much.
But Stevie Turner can actually be a competitor. Mr. Stone has always been a managerial role. So It would make more sense for him to take over the duties.
Well, as far as the Mr. Stone
maybe keep Stevie Turner on as an assistant, kind of like Sonya Deville was assisting Adam Pearce for a while.
Mm-hmm.
And you have that little bit of a conflict.
But
you let Mr. Stone take the reins. Why is everybody nodding their head like he's making some fucking sense?
You're crazy. You're crazy. This is Jerry Slaughter levels of booking. Happy birthday to the new normal, the general. We had a great birthday yesterday.
They're gonna rock paper scissors in the back, and whoever wins that is the new
okay.
NXT.
I believe this conversation has gone way off the rails. Okay, but either way, Roxanne's retaining. And I like the ambition towards the future of NXT in general. Good grief almighty. All right. Well, that being said, we've had a lot of talk, a lot of fun. We've had a lot of shenanigans and booking philosophy and maybe trying to redefine the NXT management. But without further ado, gents and lads and lasses and everybody that watches, professional wrestling fans and friends, let's go ahead and get right into it. Let's go ahead and get into our main event. And I don't need to say anything else because I only got to ask one question. Do you believe
Say his name and he appears? I believe in Joe Hendry.
Kendrick? Let's go ahead and talk about the NXT Championship, shall we? As All Ego Even Page defends the gold against, that's 250 pounds of pure motivation. The answer to all life's questions. Everybody believes in him. And his name from Scotland, representing TNA and wants to be a future TNA World Champion, is Joe Hendry. Okay, here we fucking go. This is why I'm definitely looking forward to calling and watching this show. Now, I've already said the question, and everyone's going to get their chance here. I guarantee you that. But let's go ahead and rewind and talk about how we got here. Oliver Page, who came from AEW, crashed into the Whoop That era and took it over back at Heatwave Fatal 4-Way unconsciously. And the era of All Ego, Joe Hendry, was born. Thank you, JJ. I love that. And of course, since then, I can't. Broken. We've already seen 7 defense against Aura Mensa. The 1, 2, 3 was unable to happen during that match. And since then, Joe Hendry, who's really become a favorite here with the NXT universe ever since that Battle Royal. We've been saying his name. We've been talking about him, been teasing him for months on end. And he finally arrived and appeared and has been a focal point here in NXT. Joe Hendry, of course, earned this opportunity after losing out to the Adversity and fallout right now with the System and Josh Alexander, TNA storyline to the side for the time being. He earned this opportunity winning a number 1 contenders triple threat thanks to Trick Williams driving that trick knee through Pete Dunne while Ethan Page was trying to prevent referees from coming in kind of decision, and he got the 1, 2, 3, which brought us here tonight to this match. So that being said, simply put, I'm not going to say another word. Everyone's going to state their piece. I'll just save my simple stuff for last. JJ, Walter, Tim, Emmanuel, chat, everybody that has listened or watched this on demand, whether you watch NXT or TNA, whether you've heard the name Joe Hendry, do you believe that we are going to have a brand new NXT champion? Let's go around the horn and get everybody's thoughts. JJ, let's start with you to set the pace and set things off. Again, your brand is the main event. It's NXT and A, but come on, man. You finally believe in Joe Hendry, but do you believe enough that he could be the face of NXT?
Ladies and gentlemen of the Simple Man's brand, it took a long time for me to believe in 252 pounds of pure motivation.
Pure motivation.
And a lot of it had to do with this man's appearances here lately on NXT. I don't think that it's a coincidence that he has been given full access to the Performance Center to train. I don't think that it's coincidence that he has been to the new Heart Dungeon working out with TJ and Natty. I think that Joe Hendry is going to be leaving the Impact Land and permanently crossing the line once his contract is up. I think Shawn Michaels sees future in Joe Hendry. Joe Hendry's entrance is listed on WWE's top 10 entrances along with The Rock.
Wow.
That is how much WWE believes in Joe Hendry. So yes, I believe we will have a brand new NXT champion.
Wow.
However,
uh-oh.
I don't think it'll last long.
Oh, damn it.
I think he'll lose it back at Victory Road. The one thing we really need to get to secure and solidify this NXT crossover is a member of either brand holding a championship of the other company.
Right.
Joe Hendry NXT champion could be that moment, even if it is for 2 weeks.
I don't like what you did there with the cause and effect, but I love your decision. But that being said,
The only other option, bruv, before we go down to Emmanuel and work our way around the horn here,
right.
Trick Williams was announced as the special guest referee.
Correct.
The only other option is Trick Williams turns heel and costs Joe Hendry the title.
Oh, no.
Or, as Dattila keeps pointing out, Josh Alexander crosses over and the North is reunited, costing Joe Hendry the match.
And currently, Dattila and Arlene are right now in the JJ, the Renegades' mind with literally each of those thoughts. There goes Pancake Man. Oh, my gosh. You're hurting me, but I get what you're saying. But we thought this was going to happen with Roxanne and Jordan Grace. And damn it, it didn't. I don't know now if I want a repeat because of Pete Dunne saying, have you learned yet? Have you figured it out? Is figuring it out literally doing anything to make sure that you are the talking point at the expense of somebody else? Like this Trick pull a Josh, dare I say. I don't know if I want to see that. You hurt me, kind of. But that being said, again, I'm going to leave myself alone. I'm just listening.
And again, Hendry takes it here.
Right.
Then you've got Ethan getting it back at Victory Road. Then you do the rubber match in Chicago or St. Louis.
I almost feel like this could descend into a triple threat, but I also almost got another person on my mind that also has been the envy of Joe Hendry. But that being said, as I bring him in so he can give his thoughts after Emmanuel. Emmanuel, the battle's been set with Joe Hendry as the new NXT champion. So that being said, do you believe in that or do you believe the opposite? Let me just go ahead and get Tim back in here. Go ahead, Emmanuel.
I want to believe, but something tells me. Guess what happened in the 6-way eliminatory TNA pay-per-view when Alexander raised Joe Hendry's hand?
Yep.
He turned.
Yep.
And tonight we saw Trick Williams raise and endorse Joe Hendry. And that's why I think the ego is going to win, sadly. Joe Hendry will win the NXT title eventually, pretty soon, because they want to promote TNA and NXT. And Joe Hendry will be the first one to hold not the TNA and the NXT title at the same time.
I like that. Joe Hendry, a champion of both worlds. That's how much the world truly believes in him.
And that's where the triple threat match comes along. Ego, Trick, Joe Hendry, triple threat match. And that's how you get Joe to win. Joe Hendry wins eventually the main title.
Okay. Well, that's 1-1. I kind of figured this was going to happen. Damn it. All right. Tim, it's now on you. I mean, again, we're looking at right now, Josh Alexander is going to challenge Nick Nemeth for the TNA World Championship at Emergence in an hour-long Ironman match. He's the standard. He's the longest reigning TNA World Champion. All Ego Page, right now, he's on the best run of his life and ushering in the era of All Ego in NXT after he came up with Butt Kiss in AEW. And, of course, one half of the longest reigning TNA Tag Team Champions of the Modern Era, the North. It would be poetic to see both Josh and Ethan both as champions in these companies, literally the North, ruling the wrestling business. But that being said, this is about Joe Hendry, and this is about All Ego and Page. So, Tim, where do you stand? What do you believe in?
So I believe in Joe Hendry, but I don't think he's going to win the title because I think Josh Alexander is going to play a piece in this because isn't Josh Alexander and Ethan Page former partners of the thing? So I think Josh Alexander is going to be there watching carefully after endurance. So I think he's going to be watching the match and maybe help Ethan Page to win match.
So he thinks that Josh is going to cross the prohibited portal and help All Ego retain his title. Well, damn you. All right, so we got 2. I'm just messing with you. All right, so that being said, it's 2 for All Ego and Page retaining and 1 for Joe Hendry gaining. Well, Walter, what do you believe in right now? Are you going to tie it up, or do you think the era of All Ego is going to stay around NXT and Joe Hendry's motivation is just not enough yet to be the NXT champion?
I believe in Joe Hendry as much as the next man, but I think the fact that Trick Williams is the referee is the X factor. He's going to be the referee. Bruiserweight is the one that is going to interfere in this match. Knock him out, and that continues the Bruiserweight and Trick Williams feud. Then you get a real referee out, and that's how Ethan wins. I think Ethan retains, but it won't be Trick Williams counting to 3. You keep him face. I don't think he goes heel. It's that Bruiserweight Pete Dunne is going to interfere in this match and stop Trick from counting to 3. There's going to be some kind of situation where Joe Hendry has it. Looks like he's got the 3, and Pete Dunne's going to be the one to interfere in this match, and that keeps that rivalry going as well. So as much as I want to, and I badly want to see Joe Hendry with the title, I just think that Pete Dunne has something to say about it. The fact that Trick is a referee, it was just a normal one-on-one, no special referee, no nothing like that. I think Joe Hendry would pull it off. But something tells me because he's the referee and he's got the ongoing issue with Pete Dunne, that's going to be the factor, the determining factor. So Ethan retains. It pains me to say it because I really would love Joe Hendry to walk around with that NXT title and show it on TNA. But I just don't think it'll happen.
Oh, man, this hurts me. All right, Emmanuel, I acknowledge you.
So where do you stand, Noah?
Oh, I thought Emmanuel wanted to say the real quick. So, right. The guy that freaking believes the most in Joe Hendry has to be on the freaking hot seat now.
Yeah, absolutely. Damn it.
Fuck me.
We
Okay.
want to know what the simple man believes in. Does he believe that it is still the ego's era? Or does he believe that 252 pounds of pure motivation is going to conquer the North?
Oh, jeez. Okay. Look, I watch NXT. I watch TNA. Verbatim. But I also in TNA Fable. I watch TNA TV every week. But I keep up with NXT via highlights. The bottom line is we were in the whoop that era. I was brought into NXT. But the All Ego era now is in play. And I feel that everything happens for a reason, especially when it comes to championship matches about the dynamic of heel versus babyface. Here we stand after Summerversary. The face of TNA went dark and cost Joe Hendry. Now he's taking on Nick Nemeth, and the king of TNA, self-proclaimed, is waiting in the wings. The king of TNA has also had his fallout with Joe Hendry, costing him that Battle Royale, might I add. We also know that Moose believes Joe Hendry is a joke. And I'll leave it Page right now. Got the biggest ego inflated ever. Now he's NXT champion. And now we have Trick Williams, where Pete Dunne said, have you figured it out yet? I don't think he has. And he cost Pete Dunne this opportunity. There has to be something that goes down here. There's a reason there's a special guest referee stipulation in play. I think Trick is not involved in the decision. I think Pete Dunne does take him out, but I think also a rep bump happens. I think all sorts of shenanigans are going to happen. I think there's a chance Frank Kazarian could show up here and try and screw Joe Hendry at this point, because Frank Kazarian is nothing but bitter and jealous the fact that he hasn't been able to win the big one his entire career. But if you think for one iota of a second when this match was announced tonight, damn my headache aside, that I was going to go against 250 pounds of pure motivation, you're stuck in gear stupid. Because I want to see Joe Hendry, the face of NXT and TNA. I want to see Joe Hendry go one-on-one with Moose, the fact that Moose hasn't beat him. I want to see Moose change direction and challenge Joe Hendry now for the NXT Championship. So I believe officially I'm not changing that Joe Hendry, damn it, is going to be the new NXT champion. Period.
Oh
Joe Hendry's
man,
my pick.
that'll be a big bait on the fishing rod of getting him over to WWE full time. I'll tell you that.
Bye, yeah, that too. Yes, JJ, I see your hand up.
So then let me ask you this one question before we go back to Emmanuel for his thoughts, since I threw you onto the burner there. If Joe Hendry does the unthinkable and becomes champion like you and I believe he will you tune into NXT every Tuesday?
Oh, you dick!
He's giving you the Nutella treatment.
It'll be your champion.
Well, I mean, the network is supposed to offer changes. I know it. I'm super reliable. And you. Sounds like we're going to cover at least those 2 weeks. Fine. If Joe Henry's the face of NXT, I will start watching NXT verbatim weekly.
There we go. Now we just got to get Datilla. Go ahead, Emmanuel.
Go ahead, man. I'll wrap things out here. Bottom line is 2 for Joe Hendry. We believe these 3 don't.
Yeah, because once you guys mentioned Pete Dunne, what if Trick Williams tried to do the trick knee on Pete Dunne? He ducks, he hits Joe Hendry, and that's how Ethan retains. But remember when I said earlier that eventually Joe Hendry will win the NXT title. What about a CW debut, a fatal 4-way match? Pete Dunne, Ethan Page, Trick Williams, Joe Hendry for the NXT title. Joe Hendry wins on the CW debut, and that's how you bring the ratings. I don't see Dolph Ziggler as the future of TNA. Maybe TNA has see plans with Nick, but I feel like Nick is going to get defeated by Joe. It needs to go to Joe to develop and bring more viewers to TNA that way. Because I'm not digging his title. I know he just won it, but give it time to cook. But I feel like the momentum's more towards Joe than Nick right now.
That's fair, considering, again, Joe Hendry's character, as he said on the Chris Release podcast, was defined in TNA. And I do think, again, things happen for a reason. Joe Hendry and Nick Nemeth are the 2 biggest baby faces right now in all of TNA. So to have a mutually respectable match with a TNA World Championship with those 2 could work, but for storytelling purposes, there's a reason why your Supercust King of TNA is waiting in the wings to see what happens after Emergence. And he very well might be bound for glory to finally win his first big one in his career. Just saying. But the bottom line is this. I will always believe in Joe Hendry, and I think he should be the face of NXT to come to be the face of TNA and honestly run this industry. I believe in Joe Hendry, and I hope that he does become the NXT champion, because this Airball ego, I've had enough of this guy's ego for one freaking company. Dang him. All right. Well, that being said, again, folks, do you believe in Joe Hendry? Who do you think will show any mercy, if any is given? Do we get a heel turn? Do we get a surprise the honest? Do we get somebody showing up? And again, say his name and he appears.
Say his name and he appears. I believe in Joe Hendry.
And I think with that, we'll go ahead and leave it for y'all with your remaining thoughts as we conclude this fun session of Sleep Predicting. Thanks for tuning in, too. Again, stay tuned for Sleep Reliable. We'll be here on the weekend during both NXT and TNA, giving you alternative play-by-play commentary coverage of both shows. It's sure to be a blast, as this simple agenda has just begun for me this week. Guys, it's been a pleasure again. Stay tuned for the forum. If I don't do it immediately following this video, it'll be up tomorrow morning in the comments, also in our Sleep Predicting chat, and it'll also be on my social medias. Good luck to everybody involved in the NXT League, because I believe in NXT just like I believe in Joe Hendry. Although I do believe in Joe Hendry a whole lot more still, just saying. That being said, let's go around the horn and get everyone's plugs. Tim, nice to see you again. Been a moment. It's been a pleasure predicting with you. Anything you want to plan, promote, and where can people find you?
I'm everywhere, and all the prediction leagues everywhere. So yeah, it's glad to be. Glad to be on the show. Maybe I'll be on the show on Thursday too for Impact because I like Impact. So maybe I'll be on the show for people.
All right. Appreciate it, man. Well, just take care of yourself. Take it easy, and we'll see you then. Manuel, anything you want to plug about? Where can people find you?
Well, I have 2 accounts for Facebook. One with my blue shirt and one with my business suit. If you want to follow both, I mean, it's Emmanuel Dominguez. I mean, like, it's my fault because back in the day, Facebook had like games like Candy Crush, and you needed to add friends to continue that journey. So I had to add a different account so I could continue that journey. But now it's free, so it doesn't matter now.
Fair enough. All right.
But hopefully, like more, predictions, more karaoke nights, and I hope everything goes back in as the norm as it was, and hopefully we stay tuned for the future of the channel.
I'm about to say we're all locked in for the future of the wrestling business more than ever, especially with this NXT and a crossover. And again, if Joe Henry wins, all bets are off. Walter, again, I know I'll probably see you later this week, but go ahead and plug your stuff so you get yourself a cheap plug about your product. Again, I still don't have your graphic. You still got to send me that, bro. But go ahead.
Yeah, I gotta send you that graphic. But yeah, you can follow me on Instagram at the Cowfire Farms. It's FYRE, not fire like FIRE. Even I can spell wrong, but I can read typos, so that's a special skill. But you can follow me on the Rage of Wrestling YouTube channel and on X at Walter Alex Cruz.
All right. Thank you so much. JJ, again, you and I, we're probably always more busy than any of these other gentlemen because what we believe in when it comes to our love of the professional wrestling business. I know you got a lot on your plate after your state of Kazane Studios address, so let me go ahead and put this up and go ahead and tell the people what you do and where they can find you.
Well, beginning September 2nd, I will be returning with For the Love of Wrestling every evening that I don't work my 9 to 5 BJs. Immediately following the East Coast showing of Raw, NXT, Dynamite, Impact, and SmackDown. I will be covering NWA Power, OVW, and Ring of Honor on some of those shows as well. I just need to message my friend for the Ring of Honor information so that I can watch those every week. Wonder who I'm talking to. I'll just point. But I'm going to start trying to cover that stuff on a weekly basis as well. So at least OVW and Ring of Honor will be new. NWA Power I was covering for a while. Stopped watching it when I went on hiatus. Looking forward to getting back to it, especially since NWA 76 is supposed to be happening here at the end of the month, and then they'll start broadcasting those shows. So that'll be the content that I'll be seeing is all the stuff that was filmed for the 76th anniversary show.
Right.
I've been hitting the studio, doing production and filming for content once the channel relaunches here at the beginning of the year. Put out a tweet today. If everything goes the way that I'm hoping it will, then a week from tomorrow, I will have my first 2 weeks completely filmed up for the beginning of the year.
Nicely done. Good advanced booking. And again, folks, please follow the Renegade Wrestling Kazane Studios, YouTube, Twitter, and the Instagram at the following links.
So, yeah, I mean, just lots of stuff. Bringing back Renegades reviews, bringing some new programming, music-oriented. So, hoping to see what happens with those, but looking forward to it.
Hey, he pays the price.
Yes. Ha, 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 Dwayne. Ha, ha.
And shout out to our friend Dwayne Atkinson. It's all good, brother. We appreciate you. I look forward to having you again on Super Predicting as well in the future. And stay tuned for the farm. And please follow Dwayne Atkinson, folks. If he wants to plug anything in the chat, I'll be happy to put that up. But good stuff, gentlemen, as Tim's phone's probably already trying to melt as we speak. But I'll leave him on screen if he chooses. But that being said, everyone said their stuff. So if they want to leave, they're fine. Because I'm just going to do my simple close. Because again, folks, I do this all the time across all things wrestling. Shout out to BW family. For I am nothing more but a simple man and a lifelong fan that believes in Joe Hendry, but also a lifelong fan of professional wrestling. Damn it. So if you follow me, if you choose, and want to be part of these predictions legally, silly predicting panels, then find me on the Twitter and on YouTube. I am Foster1916 for all things wrestling. You can find my podcast with me and my ATW fam on my YouTube channel, the ATW Impromptu. You can find the entire playlist there. We're doing another quick impromptu tomorrow after Dynamite where we give our simple review of All In, at least me and the King. Others are welcome to join in if you all want. Just let me know. And please follow my friend across the pond, Mary Jane, who is to prove that Jade is worth more than gold. I'm also going to give a great plug there to our friend Attila, who is in the chat. Appreciate you, pal. Follow her at Rangers of Wrestling. She just did, I think, Paramorphicon. So I'm sure she has stuff on that. She also, of course, brings you Wrestling Time with recaps for the following shows. I don't know if she does a Collision anymore. Again, also, we have the Saturday Shenanigans, hosted by Mega Wrestling JJ Williams. Again, updated graphic. So we will, of course, have that also Saturday night. And as Walter alluded to, Simply Reliable. It's a 3-person booth across 2 shows, possibly across all 3 shows, but the simple agenda for me is just starting. Tomorrow again, Pronto will be recorded. We'll be back here with City Predicting live Thursday night after TNA, 10:50 p.m. Standard Time, as we City Predict Emergence, including the hour-long Ironman match for the TNA World Championship with Josh Alexander and Nick Nemeth, as well as the Ultimate X match that includes Cedric Wentz, and maybe Wesley might show up. Yes, JJ, real quick.
Quick question about the Iron Man match. Is there going to be a bonus point for trying to guess what the score is going to be?
Oh dear God, I didn't think about that. But
I feel like that's an Aaron Rift thing to do. Is
yeah.
what's the ball score going to be?
Well, as is tradition, I always follow the boss man. So you got to know the Q. Shout out to Aaron Rift. Please follow Know the Q. Plus, they are about to celebrate the 300 review next week. Yes, that is official. That will be a bonus point. And thank you for reminding me to add that to the forum as I've been building all 3 forums because. Again, not 1, not 2, 3 shows, Lord help me, are going to take over me this weekend, as we'll also be covering Bash the Berlin this Saturday. And City Predicting Bash Berlin will be quick and simple ahead of TNA Emergence this Friday, as that will be live 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Friday as well. So stay tuned for more on that and more that's ahead outside Cements brand, Casting Studios, and Rage of Wrestling, as we always continue to bring our content across YouTube. And as always, I'd like to conclude, there are no winners, no losers, no betters, just fans with opinions for this passion we all share. So at the end of the day, folks, support one another, respect each other, protect your mentality too, treasure your families, and just enjoy life and enjoy professional wrestling. It's truly as simple as that. But with that being said, thank you so much for tuning in. Please like, subscribe, comment, tell a friend. Hit the bell as it goes live on demand on any of our channels. Hit the subscribe button. Help us keep growing our YouTube communities. I assure you, our passion, our content, our creativity, our love for all things wrestling and coverage of it, because we're crazy, is not, well, I'm the most crazy, is not letting up anytime soon. Until then, do you believe what's ahead? I know I do. That's sleep, as I'm finally going to leave you all for the night. So thank you for tuning in. So until Thursday night, City Predicting 10:50 p.m. Standard Time for TNA Emergence, thank you for tuning in to our thoughts on everything TNA No Mercy and Joe Hendry, as I leave with this. Make a positive impact in life. Believe in this man. Be in the face of NXT. And have a good night. Oh, man. I love this stuff. And I really am holding out for Joe Hendry. Again, do you believe?
Say his name and he appears. I believe in Joe Hendry.